A remote town, while the other is the traditional Chinese festival with a long history. But they both share the same name. On the day of the Double Ninth Festival, people climb up the mountain, drink wine, and show filial obedience to their seniors. This is China's historic towns, Chongyang Town and the Double Ninth Festival. It's a custom for Chinese people to climb up mountains and enjoy the Double Ninth Festival on September the 9th in the lunar calendar. People in Chongyang Town, Xixia County, Henan Province, usually walk up the mountain on that day. The most eye-catching are the large sedan chairs among people who are climbing up the mountain, and they cluster around the 9 sedan chairs. The locals say it's a custom with a long history in Chongyang. 9 old people, who are almost 90 years old, are being carried to the mountaintop in the sedan chairs. And they will receive the most enthusiastic blessings from younger people. What's the relationship between Chongyang Town and the festival? Chongyang Town, located at the juncture of Henan, Shanxi and Hubei, is 200 kilometers from Shenyang in the south, 200 kilometers from Xi'an in the northwest, and 200 kilometers from Luoyang in the north. It's been a pass on the transit line between central and west China since ancient times. Wang Zhanguo is a peculiar rural painter in Chongyang. The reason that people say he is peculiar is that his paintings are all on a single theme, but enjoy great popularity. These different girls, accompanied by wild chrysanthemums, refer to the same character named Princess Chongyang. There's a legend about Princess Chongyang. In the Han Dynasty, about 2,000 years ago, imperial concubine Li escaped to Chongyang and gave birth to a daughter named Princess Chongyang on September the 9th in the lunar calendar. Unfortunately, concubine Li and many people died of a plague one autumn. Princess Chongyang decided to eliminate the demon that caused the disease. Then a Taoist master told her of several weak points of the demon. On the same day of the next year, Princess Chongyang led people to climb up the mountain. Women wore dogwood and men drank wild chrysanthemum wine, yelling loudly together. The princess killed the scared demon with a sword. Then the locals lived in peace and contentment. This is the story that is passed down in the town. It seems that it isn't groundless. The locals think that Chongyang Town and Chongyang Temple are named because of Princess Chongyang. According to the abbot of Chongyang Temple, when the temple was being reconstructed, some dilapidated tiles were excavated, seemingly proving the existence of concubine Li mentioned in the legend.
这是什么位置上的？这就是大殿那个房基上 黄金的前头那个祭寿瓦呢上面了，哎，他是为了纪念他母亲这个落难日，所以在这个翻修重阳寺的时候啊，他就把它供李氏李氏就是李娘娘啊，这个供就代表了恭敬的意思，
恭敬的，
哎，恭敬的意思，所以就把它开到这个祭寿上，啊，这另外这个颜色的话，跟这个下边这个是配套的，你看，这是个龙头，哎，这个龙头，你看这是个凤尾。哎，龙头凤尾，在过去这个建筑上，它不像现在，你谁都可以用。这个尤其是这种琉璃瓦，它皇家在用。
The abbot thinks that a stone inscription in the main hall of his temple can also prove the extraordinary relationship between Chongyang Temple and the imperial family.
哎，这念了出来，好。
天子万年。
看看。天子万年，
什么意思呢？
就是天子就代表皇帝嘛，
哦，
啊，就是皇帝万岁嘛。就用现在的话，啊，天子万年就是为了纪念他的这个功德碑，哎，功德碑，所以天子万年，啊，
这皇恩什么意思呢？这龙啊，
哎，这个皇恩它主要就是皇帝亲自来翻修这个寺院，啊，人代表是皇帝在这做工来，啊，是这样的。
The tablet and the glazed head of the dragon and tail of the phoenix prove that the imperial family once attached much attention to the temple at least. Probably due to the legend, Chongyang Temple was once illustrious. Do the characters meaning respectable concubine Li indicate that there was an imperial concubine with the surname Li in its history?
60块标准。
Wang Wudang, who is from Xixia County, finds that there is no record of the popular story about concubine Li and Princess Chongyang in historical books. He travelled throughout Xixia to search for clues which could prove the existence of Lady Li. After investigating for nearly 10 years, he came to the bold conclusion that she could have been a concubine of Emperor Liu Bang.
那是安昌这个村叫安昌族，哎，安昌族。
我们西夏二郎坪还有一个汉王城，汉王就是刘邦，刘邦曾经路过西夏，他路过这个地方的时候，带走了一个女儿，这个女儿姓李，这就是后来的所谓叫李娘娘或者叫李妃。这个李娘娘跟着刘邦到京城以后，由于受宫廷之间的这个妃子之间的争斗，她虽然怀孕了，被派地撵出了京城，然后到我们西夏的重阳，正好在9月9那天生了一个女孩，所以就给起个名就叫重阳女。
Based on field surveys, Wang came to such a surprising conclusion. And locals firmly believe the existence of concubine Li and Princess Chongyang because of his conclusion. How has the custom relevant to Princess Chongyang been handed down? Climbing mountains and drinking wine are traditional activities in the Double Ninth Festival. Wild chrysanthemum and dogwood are the marks of the Double Ninth Festival. How have such customs been passed down? This is Chongyang Town and the Double Ninth Festival. Wild chrysanthemum, an acknowledged flower for the town, is also a local speciality. It's an indispensable ingredient for natives to brew wine. The wild chrysanthemum wine, brewed by Ye Yu Zhu, is unsurpassed in Chongyang. It's the best wine people can enjoy. In the legend, the wild chrysanthemum wine was one of the magic weapons used by Princess Chongyang to expel the demon. The demon was afraid of the strong and pungent odor of the wine. There's a saying that Chongyang people could not celebrate the Double Ninth Festival without wine. Many Chongyang people brew wine and compete for the quality of their wine. The wine brewed by Ye Yu Zhu is unsurpassed in the town.
是吧？年年一收。你会喝酒吧？
会喝一点点。
来品尝品尝我们重阳的菊花酒。
好
啊。
在重阳镇都说你家，哇，这味儿真香哎！ 都说您家的酒最好。
我这够10年了。
10年了
啊，我都泡。
哎，好。
就是他有些年代上，我这10年，你品尝品尝。
味很香。甜的。
甜的。
甜。
时间长了。
时间长了。
时间长了，个酒味是像那个了，这。好。
很好。
好。
甜酒。
The reason why wild chrysanthemum was used as a magic weapon to expel the demon is that it does indeed have medicinal values. The introduction of wild chrysanthemum can be found in the Compendium of Materia Medica. Such wild chrysanthemum growing on local mountains can reduce fever, calm the liver, and improve eyesight. Chao Sechong is a local resident. According to the records of the Compendium of Materia Medica, he uses wild chrysanthemum to cure his eye disease, which has disturbed him for many years.
76年得的病，我是右眼得了视网膜炎，眼底出现黄斑，视力只有0.2。
Chao cured his eye disease according to an ancient prescription. He used pillows filled with wild chrysanthemum and drank wild chrysanthemum tea every day. 5 years later, the vision of his right eye improved to 0.6. Chao attributes his recovery to the wild chrysanthemum. Now, to make wild chrysanthemum tea is a necessary job for him to improve his eyesight every day.
我介绍给你泡一点，你喝尝尝。捏这么多，相当于5克左右，放入茶杯当中，用开水浸泡，开水浸透，盖茶盖盖住，焖一下。
焖多长时间
？1、2分钟，
这味儿真是很香的菊花香味儿。
你尝尝有点苦味没有？
非常苦苦的。
2月苦口里有病，非常好。
Actually, the wild chrysanthemum is a necessary herb in local households. The locals also favor drinking chrysanthemum wine and tea. The origin of this custom is undoubtedly related to Princess Chongyang.
当时是重阳这一带有瘟疫，蔓延很快，死人很多。重阳公主呢，用菊花煮成茶，是得了瘟疫的，叫人家挨个送，叫人家喝，这样子了，去除了瘟疫，恢复了健康。所以说，人们拜菊花仙子为神灵。
The wild chrysanthemum of the town has enjoyed a reputation since ancient times. Many celebrities and poets have visited this town and left masterpieces praising the wild chrysanthemum.
唐朝开始，李白、杜甫一直到元朝的元好问，历代的名家诗人，大部分都游过西夏，而且写了很多关于菊花的诗、重阳的诗。
Besides wild chrysanthemum, dogwood is also a special symbol of the Double Ninth Festival. The demon is afraid of dogwood, which is red and smells spicy. Thus, on the Double Ninth Festival, people always wear its berry. The poem, Missing Brothers in Shandong on the Double Ninth Festival, written by Wang Wei, a poet in the Tang Dynasty, made dogwood become the symbol of the Double Ninth Festival. It was based on the wearing of dogwood in the poem that Wang Wudang deduced that the customs of the festival had already become a common practice in the area of Xixia in the Tang Dynasty.
中国的山茱萸大体上是3个品种，有五茱萸、山茱萸、石茱萸3种。 吴主义产在云南、贵州和江浙一带。他们在9月9日的时候，他已经采摘了，茶主义已经没有主义了。而石主义呢，它是在秦岭以北。9月9日的时候，它还没有成熟，都是青的。9月9日农历这个前后，果汁成熟，亮晶晶、红轩轩的，只有伏牛山这个南边这一带，就是我们西夏。王维所说的这个茶主义，到底是茶的哪个地方的主义呢？我们研究认为是茶的是西夏的一种山主义。
Wang Wudang led the crew to find a dogwood tree in Xixia. It's 11 meters high and 1.5 meters wide. The reason why it's called the Tree King is that it can produce full and productive dogwood and bring amazing profits.
像这个树，当时最高产量就是450公斤，900斤，1斤100块就能卖9万。现在就是按10几块钱1斤，它也能卖个1万8块钱，所以老百姓称它这个摇钱树，所以很珍贵。哎，
这果子可以吃吗？
可以，这是个药材。
药材哈。
啊，这吃的有点发晒甜，也能吃。
能吃。
但是它主要是个药材，它是滋阴补肾。
涩辣。
有点涩甜酸。它是6味地黄丸的主药。
Before pepper was introduced into China, people mainly used dogwood, ginger and other plants to make the spicy flavor. It's magical that there is such a tree king as dogwood on each mountain in Xixia. For their different genes, dogwood trees are different because of the mountains. Wild chrysanthemum and dogwood have now become typically geographical products of Xixia. Before each double ninth festival, wild chrysanthemums and dogwood bloom all over mountains in Chongyang. These two special properties give credibility to the handing down of the legend from generation to generation. Wang thinks Chongyang people's mountain climbing originated from their recognition of the plague. Ancient people considered it as a demon. Climbing mountains was not only to avoid the demon, but also to unite the people to defeat it. People shouting loudly together was also a weapon to defeat the demon.
带的是菊花酒、茶的茱萸，登到这个山顶上，大家一起喊，除掉妖魔，保卫平安，这是喊着声，一起喊，声音很大。
The method that Princess Chongyang used to expel the demon with sounds has evolved into the shouting between the mountains on the festival. But how did the festival develop into the Day for the Aged? Why is the Double Ninth Festival also called the Daughter's Day? What do Chongyang cake and white mutton noodles mean? How has Chongyang culture been accepted generally? You're watching Chongyang Town and the Double Ninth Festival. The legend of Princess Chongyang hasn't ended yet. Her story touched not only the locals, but also her father. Thus the emperor asked her back to the imperial palace.
这个重阳女她每年到这个重阳节的时候，都带着菊花呀、山茱萸啊、菊花酒啊去看望她父亲，并把民间这些活动也带到京城。后来这个京城也都学会，觉得很好。这所以这个刘邦就发令，全国都要到9月9这一天过重阳节，登山、赏菊，喝菊花酒、插茱萸、海山，就这些活动就普及开来了。
The legend of Princess Chongyang finally had a perfect ending. Therefore, the Double Ninth Festival is also called the Daughter's Day in Chongyang. Shui Fengxia, already 92 years old, has heard many stories of Princess Chongyang. In the morning of each Double Ninth festival, she had longed for the return of her daughters and granddaughters. On the Double Ninth festival, married daughters will visit their parents. They'll chat with their mother and help her to do some housework. They'll give a sachet made of dogwood to their mother. It's said that concubine Li died of a plague, and Princess Chongyang put wild chrysanthemum in front of the grave of her mother. Later, people used wild chrysanthemum to console the kinfolk of the deceased. People make sachets with dogwood and send them to their mother, praying for blessings and wishing their mother good health. In Chinese traditional culture, 9 is the maximum number. The Double Ninth festival has gradually developed into a day to wish the aged longevity. Climbing up high mountains to avoid pestilence is also endowed with the same meaning. The aged of the town eat a very special kind of longevity noodles. They must be white mutton noodles.
为什么老人做寿的时候要吃这个羊肉白面呢？
羊肉的羊跟重阳的羊是同音嘛？
谐音。
谐音，啊，白面白跟白色的白有什么区别？
白少一横。
啊，
那就是99。
对对，我们重阳的99就是代表高寿的意思。
This bowl of white mutton noodles also has a profound meaning. It means not only the Double Ninth festival, but also the auspiciousness of longevity. In Chongyang, people also make Chongyang cake, which is also a necessary pastry that locals favor when celebrating the Double Ninth festival. Chongyang cake with 9 layers is made with the local dogwood, wild chrysanthemum, rice and other mountain fruits. An old local man remarked that he once saw Chongyang cakes made of 5 cereals: rice, red bean, wheat, soybean and millet. It would have 5 colors: green, red, yellow, white and black, as well as 5 flavors: sweet, sour, bitter, spicy and salty. There's wild chrysanthemum with a bitter flavor and dogwood with a sour flavor. Taoists think 5 cereals with 5 flavors can best eliminate diseases, strengthen physical health and prolong life. Chongyang cake delivers the wish that the aged could live a long life. The Double Ninth festival is celebrated every year. On the day of the festival, there's also a grand ceremony in Chongyang Temple. The abbot wears a red cassock and solemnly presents 9 foods, such as Chongyang cake, dogwood and wild chrysanthemum in the temple. On this day, people come to the temple not only to make a pilgrimage to Princess Chongyang, but also for delivering a good prayer and blessing to all the elderly people.